Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. I'm Justin from the 909er Whiskey Aircast. We're doing something a little different today. I've got my buddy Mike here with his Cheyenne. We're going to do an airplane review. He's going to walk around, kind of talk about the airplane, the features, the benefits, and all that kind of stuff, the useful load, and what kind of sets this plane apart from some of the other planes.
When the line froze, what did I see? A bad motherfucker standing next to me with his eyes closed, told he can't see. Trying to follow orders, just go on and be free. Be free like a bird, so today I'ma fly. Bad, bad motherfucker till the day I die. Be free like a bird, so today I'ma fly. Bad, bad motherfucker till the day I die. Yeah! Bad, bad motherfucker till the day I die. I'm a bad brain Bruce Wayne in the fast lane, couple J's.
Well, hello. So what we've got here is a 1981 Piper Cheyenne 2 XL. It's a PA-31 T2, and the XL version, you can tell an XL version by the extra window right behind the pilots. There's a 24-inch plug in there that extends the fuselage of the airplane. Okay. This extension fixes some earlier issues with the Cheyennes for the pitch sensitivity. So they lengthen the airplane. Of course, you get more room. You eliminate a system called SAS, a stability augmentation system, which in a lot of ways is like the Boeing MAX issues, where there's actually a control vane, angle of attack meter that on certain angles of attack, the SAS system would stiffen up the controls to minimize your pitch oscillations. This plane does not need that system, so there's less maintenance required, and it's much simpler.
So it's more than just extra legroom we're going for.
Yep, it's an improvement. In the latest, this is kind of the last version of the Piper Cheyenne, so it's the final version with all the latest improvements.
All right, cool. And then you were telling me the engines were redone recently?
Yeah, so the aircraft here, these airplanes were used heavily for work. This particular airplane at one point was even in the air ambulance business up in Alaska. And they pretty much wore out the engines. The aircraft has about 12,500 hours. It's built like a tank, maybe heavier duty than what most people think of when they think of the small Pipers.
Okay.
They wore the engines completely out, so these engines are completely new. They were replaced by a company called Black Hawk, and the Black Hawk modification increases the horsepower and performance. Same size engine, PT6 135 was the original engine at 620 horsepower. This airplane with the PT6 135As makes 750 horsepower available.
Per engine?
Per engine.
We're going fast.
4 blade props instead of 3. So that's kind of the benefit. I mean, it's all about the power, right?
Absolutely, always about the power. So did that help increase top speed or useful load?
Well, the certification pretty much stays the same on the airplane. So we are only allowed to use the 620 horsepower based on the original certification, but I can hold that power to much higher altitudes, which allows me to increase our airspeed. So it is faster than the stock. Yep, and you're going to have better climb performance holding the power.
Okay. What's the climb rate?
Well, what do you want? We'll have 6 people on board, but we're going to have less than half fuel. We can maintain. We're going to stay VFR today, so we'll go up to 17.5.
Okay.
And we can do, if we want, we can do 3,000 foot a minute climb all the way up there.
Nice.
At these weights.
That's a little bit faster than my 500 foot a minute in the 909er Whiskey.
Yeah. And if we hold 120 knots indicated, which is the blue line, initially we'll probably be doing closer to 4,000 foot a minute climb if we wanted.
Awesome.
We don't want to do that in the traffic pattern here, just for being able to look out the
airport.
windows. We got to be able to look out the windows. Absolutely. Looking at the sky.
Some sightseeing as well. Yeah. Oh, very cool, man. What's the fuel burn and fuel capacity?
366 gallons is usable.
Okay.
For 2,450 pounds. With the jet airplanes, they kind of work with pounds.
Right.
So we can, with full fuel, we're going to have around 1,300 pounds of payload.
Okay.
And about 4 hours, 45 minutes range.
Okay.
At 300 miles an hour or 260 knots.
Okay, cool.
Is kind of what I plan for.
260. Great. I was seeing, I think I looked up the top cruise speed was like 280. About.
Yeah, down low, a little lower, and if you want to burn that much fuel.
Right.
So at cruise, I'm burning about 75 gallons an hour.
75 an hour. That's a little more.
It's significant. But you're doing 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, so you're getting there faster. It all pays off in the end, right?
Yeah.
It all works.
When we look at the engines, you have, these are some upgrades. These are the American stacks, or this is the intake.
Right.
And we have the speed stacks also.
Okay.
If you looked at a stock one, they're little stubby exhaust.
Okay.
And this, they pull the inlet closer to the blades, and
Okay.
it gets some kind of a ram effect
Okay.
to improve your horsepower.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
ramming air in there. Very cool.
Yep. Everything else, yeah, those are really the main mods for the airplane.
Okay. Cool. How about your panel?
You know, it's kind of a mix. It's got a lot of round gauges, some steam, if you will, and 530 Garmin WAS for navigating.
Nice.
And yeah, I've had airplanes in the past that had all the G600 and flat panels and everything, and they're nice,
They're
but
very cool.
frankly, I kind of enjoy flying the old gauges. It's simpler.
Right.
I believe it presents the information that you need more clearly.
Right.
Well, the
Get what
problem
you
with
need
the
quick.
panels for me is that there's almost too much information, and
Okay.
to find what you want it takes a little longer. Obviously, the more you get familiar, the better. But when I want all that extra information, I just refer to my iPad.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. That's all I pretty much fly with is the iPad.
Yeah, it has everything.
It has everything you need for, $1,000 and a subscription. Do you use ForeFlight or WingX?
4-flight.
ForeFlight.
Mhm.
So there's some battling on which is better.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Or the Garmin.
Or
Is
the
that
Garmin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you started with it, I think is the best. Right?
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
you don't want to relearn.
Right, absolutely. And they're very similar. I use WingX,
Uh-huh.
but I use WingX because my instructor had an extra spot on his subscription.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not really paying for anything.
Even better. It's
Yeah.
kind of like Netflix or
It's
something.
like Netflix. Yeah, no. Just let me borrow your password.
Right? You don't need those extra licenses.
Right, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the inside.
Okay.
All right.
It's going to be handy, especially when you're loading.
Oh.
You're an ambulance and you need to load something large in.
Absolutely.
It is pretty convenient.
That is
And
cool.
then you can unhook this down to here and clear the cable out of the way as well.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
watch your head. Not quite a stand-up cabin. You can see it's kind of, well, it does have some upgrades. I guess you can see we have the Sandell
Okay.
for to replace the HSI. We have, of course, the Garmin 530 navigation, along with the nav radio, the original nav radio, which will drive the other HSI,
Yeah, those are old school looking.
and the Avidyne, which has some additional, well, the radar will show up on there, and some flight planning information, for example, is mainly what that gets used for. But it has the full co-pilot panel, which isn't always complete over here.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, it's similar on both sides.
Yeah. We've got our no smoking and seatbelt signs that we can illuminate and ding back for the passengers as well.
Can you make announcements to the passengers?
You can. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. It's usually hand gestures, which aren't always the most friendly. But yeah, otherwise it's just it's kind of old school, right? Not a lot of digital stuff going on up here.
It's cool though.
It does have the upgraded transponder as well, which gives me the ADS-B,
Right.
in and out, weather, traffic.
Very cool.
We also have the...
And this will tie
Avidyne
into your
traffic.
ForeFlight, right? Is that what you?
Yep,
Yeah.
Bluetooth over. And you can also do your flight plan on your iPad and beam it to the 530.
Oh, can you really?
Mhm.
That is cool.
Yeah, especially with the airway stuff, right? So
Right.
you don't have to key in all those waypoints. You can do it all on the iPad and
You can kind of flight plan it at home,
shoot it in
come
there
in, and then
one step.
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Engine out there. There's going to be spinning soon. We're out of here. Going to head to Havasu today. What's the distance from Thermal to Havasu?
105 nautical miles.
Oh, it's not far at all.
Yeah, 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes. I like that. I like that. So we're going to go all the way up to 17.5. How long will we be at 17.5 for?
Just long enough to probably start descent.
Yeah, just long enough to touch the peak and crest back down?
Yeah.
Well, very cool, man.
Should keep us out of that turbulence you got into on the way here.
That was rough. Today I flew down here from Hesperia. That was the roughest flight I've ever been on. Absolutely. With myself flying or anybody else, yeah, we bounced a lot. We got pitched sideways. It was flying the whole time, man. Throttle on, throttle off, trying to maintain an altitude. But we're not going to have that issue today in the Cheyenne. We're going big.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Watch this red line. If it makes a run past there, you got to pull the fuel out quick.
Okay.
You have like 1 second. Okay, starters off. Props coming out of feather. Got to go high idle to get the generator to work.
Okay.
Because it's a starter and a generator.
Okay.
Both. So when we're done starting, now we want to generate. You have to get it spinning fast enough to convert. So then we recharge the battery.
Gotcha.
It pulls a lot of amps.
So you got to recharge it before you start the second engine. I gotcha.
Yeah, it's 200 amp breaker down here on each generator.
No way.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hell, man.
That's as much as my house.
Yeah.
So 50. So we'll take the generator off. Check these pumps. Start. Get it above 12% before you add fuel. Then we wait for it to light off, and then we'll do a cross generator start. So I'll turn the generator on now to boost it. This one will be a cooler start because it has this one helping it.
Regional Airport.
Automated weather observation 1839er Zulu. Wind 270 at 12. Visibility 10. Sky conditions clear. Temperature 21 Celsius. Dew point -08 Celsius. Altimeter 30.
Well, hey, thanks for doing the interview.
You bet.
Hopefully this will